The police in Nigeria would rob us. So whenever the police stole my brother's shoes and his watch.
Hello and what's up, guys? Let's get straight into it. A bold and controversial statement is making waves currently, and is coming from UK Conservative Party leader Kemi Badenoch. She is not holding back, calling Nigeria a very poor country and accusing the Nigerian police of stealing from their own citizens, including her own family. Badenoch, who recently stirred discussions with her remarks about her Nigerian identity, didn't mince words. In a candid interview with the Free Press, she described shocking experiences with the Nigerian police, revealing they once stole her brother's shoes and wristwatch. The police in Nigeria will rob us. I remember them. The police in Nigeria will rob us. I remember them stealing my brother's shoes and his watch. It is a very poor country, so people do all sorts of things. Giving people a gun is just a license to intimidate. But here is where it gets even more interesting. Badenoch contrasts this incident with her positive experiences with the British police. She recalls an incident in the UK where, after being burgled, officers not only helped her but caught the suspect in 2004. Her remarks didn't stop there. In a separate interview with The Spectator, Badenoch revealed that she identifies more with her Yoruba heritage than with Nigeria as a whole. She went further, describing Northern Nigeria as a haven for Islamism and Boko Haram. This statement has sparked heated debate on social media. Is Badenoch being brutally honest, or has she crossed a line? Stick around as we dive into the interview, reactions from both sides of the divide, and other things she had said about Nigeria.
Do you trust the British police?
I do. But, remember my experience with the police in Nigeria was very negative. And coming to the UK, my first experience with the police was very positive. The police in Nigeria would rob us. So when people say, I had this bad experience with the police because I'm black and they're white, I was like, well, I remember the police stole my brother's shoes and his watch.
His shoes?
Yeah, they took his shoes and his watch. It's a very poor country. So, people do all sorts of things, and giving people a gun is just a license to intimidate. But that's not the bar we should use for British police. Obviously, it should be much higher. But my experience was so positive. When I was burgled, for example, the police were there, very helpful. They eventually caught the person. This is 2004, so 20 years ago. The police did catch criminals, and now we've given them too much to do, in my view. So the police are the first line of defense for everything, and I think that burden makes it a lot harder for them to actually do the basics, and that's another thing that we need to look at.
This our sister Kemi Badenoch went on the trend because she doesn't want to be associated or have anything to do with Nigeria and Nigerians. She is currently the leader of the Conservative Party in the UK. The woman don't finally talk waiting the vesam. This our sister has finally, made it open why she has so much resentment and so much anger for Nigerians and for Nigerian states. So many people don't they provoke for this our sister. Why should they carry goes they follow Nigeria and Nigerians? Even the Vice President Shetima, don't try let her know, say, whether you like it or not. Say in the midst of all of this, say Nigeria is still the giant of Africa. Say Nigeria is still the greatest black nation in this world. If you like, make you comot Kemi from your name to remove the fact that you have Nigeria ancestry. Everybody they provoke for the woman. But the woman don't talk something will shock me. The woman talk say Nigerian police thief him brother shoe and him brother wristwatch. Make her listen to this woman. I don't tire for police.
Use them to try and destroy us.
Do you trust the British police?
I do. But remember my experience with the police in Nigeria was very negative, and coming to the UK, my first experience with the police was very positive. The police in Nigeria would rob us. So when people say, "Oh, I had this bad experience with the police because I'm black and they're white," I was like, "Well, I remember the police stole my brother's shoes and his watch."
His shoes?
Yeah, they took his shoes and his watch. It's a very poor country, so people do all sorts of things, and giving people a gun is just a license to intimidate. But that's not the bar we should use for British police. Obviously, it should be much higher. But my experience was so positive. When I was burgled, for example, the police were there, very helpful. They eventually caught the person. This is 2004, so 20 years ago. The police did catch criminals, and now we've given them too much to do, in my view. So the police are the first line of defense for everything, and I think that burden makes it a lot harder for them to actually do the basics, and that's another thing that we need to look at.
Let's talk about some of the social issues that have exploded here.
Shebi, I don't watch the video. There are two sides to this story. Yes. While to an extent I agree with Kemi, also to a large extent I disagree with her. Now, first of all, if you already watched the full video of this interview, I do not necessarily think that Kemi ought to have brought Nigeria into this very discussion, because the question was, do you trust British police? How does that got to do with Nigerian police? You come move from British police, come enter Nigerian police. From Nigerian police, how they take thief your brother's shoe, and now they take thief your brother's wristwatch. You come enter Nigeria is a very, very poor country. I don't like that. Even though I agree with you on the fact that our Olopa people, they mess up. Otherwise, why would they thief your brother's wristwatch and your brother's shoe? And that is still they pay you for many, many years up to this moment. More so, I listened to another fractions of that interview where Kemi was saying that if she wanted to be a Nigerian, that she will move back to Nigeria. You know what I mean? But she doesn't want to recreate Nigeria in the UK. On this note, I agree with her 100%. Shebi are still the same Nigerian people. Some people, I don't want to mention their states, carry courtesan from Nigeria, enter Dubai. Carry courtesan from Nigeria, enter Italy. Carry courtesan from Nigeria, don't even carry her, enter UK. Yet, you don't want people to protect their own country. In some places in Europe, once you enter the country, the first thing where they go to tell you now, make you go learn their own language and learn their culture. You must learn to be comfortable with it. If you don't want to learn them, if you don't want to be comfortable with it, you go back to your country. Make on no carry the rascality where they this country. Go multiply and for inside UK. Kemi is only trying to protect her own. It is very simple. On that note, I agree with her. Even though I do not, agree with her on a constant denigration of Nigeria, talking down on Nigeria. Even though we call out our politicians, calling out their rascality every day, we still defend this country, Nigeria, on daily. Even yesterday, I had argument with one Rwandan guy and two Ethiopian people, where I defend my country, Nigeria, before two Americans. Now, why I carry this American face cap where? You understand? So, Kemi should also protect the image and the integrity of Nigeria. And I'm on the same vein, calling on Nigerian police. And I don't see what you and I don't do this, our sister and the family. For many years, they no grief forget her. There is a need for overhaul of the system. Otherwise, some people, after they don't get very bad experience for inside this country, if they travel come out, it go there really very hard to forget to. Make on not talk, say we no talk am. Make on share this video, my other person see am.
Sister Kemi, it is festive period. When are you going to bring the festive cheers to your life? Because you seem like a very angry, sad person, even in a festive period. The interviewer didn't even ask you about your experience in Nigeria. She was asking you about your experience with the police in the UK. Sister, I know you are a bootlicker. I know we all know you're married to a white man. And once a black person married to a white man, suddenly they have this need to start chatting crap about their own race and their own people. Yeah? Nobody saying Nigerian police are exceptional. But you don't have to bring other people down to make yourself feel hard. Yeah? Bring some festive cheer to your life, sister, okay?
And yeah, guys, if you haven't liked, shared, or subscribed to this channel yet, now is the perfect time. And hey, don't forget to jump into the comment section. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. Now, let's dig a little deeper into Kemi Badenoch's stance. Turns out, her recent comment about Nigeria aren't the first time she has expressed strong opposition about her home country. She has previously spoken out about growing up in Lagos, describing it as chaotic, plagued by insecurity, and led by corrupt politicians. These statements didn't sit well with everyone, most notably Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima, who fired back during a recent program. If she is not proud of her heritage, she is free to remove the Kemi from her name. And that's not all. The chairperson of the Nigerian in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri, reportedly made multiple attempts to connect with Badenoch as part of outreach effort to Nigerians abroad, but Badenoch allegedly snubbed this effort, rejecting her Nigerian identity entirely. When pressed about this by journalists, Badenoch doubled down, saying she identifies as Yoruba, not Nigerian, adding that she feels no connection to the North, which she linked to Islamism and Boko Haram. It is a lot to unpack, and the reactions are rolling in. Some say she is speaking harsh truth, while others accuse her of turning her back on her roots. But enough from me. Let's dive into the clips I have gathered for you. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comment section below.
I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you, Roxy. Lagos was a place where almost everything seemed broken. I grew up under a military dictatorship, and I would never have believed that 40 years later, I would be standing here as the leader of the world's most successful political party in the history of Western democracy. I was lucky in my experiences. I was born to a relatively wealthy family and had a decent education. But I also know what it is like to be poor. I watched my family become poor as their wealth, income, and savings were inflated away by destructive government policies. But they didn't call it socialism, but it definitely was. Capital controls, no freedom of movement, government owning the means of production. And there was no freedom either. The government decided which school your child went to, it decided which businesses could or could not operate, all the way to arrests with no trial and state-sanctioned murder. So I know what freedom looks like. It's what I had in the UK. I know the values that can make citizens wealthier and happier, and how without them, they become engines of misery and despair. Classic liberal values, not left-wing liberalism, but classic liberalism of free markets, free speech, free enterprise, freedom of religion, the presumption of innocence and trusted institutions within the rule of law, and equality under the law, no matter who you are or where you come from. All of those things were missing when I was growing up as a child. So I know their value, and I know that in the West, we may be losing what made our countries great.
So as some of you may already know, the new leader of the Conservative Party in the United Kingdom, Kemi Badenoch, is of Nigerian origin. But there are allegations he doesn't want to identify with Nigeria, which is now forcing Abike Dabiri, the chairman of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, to say this.
We've reached out to her once or twice without any response. So we don't force people to accept to be in Nigeria. So if you appreciate the Nigerianness in you and you want to work with us, we're open to everybody, but we cannot force you to appreciate the Nigerianness in you. You remember the Miss Universe Nigeria in South Africa? She until she got into a little problem with South Africa, and she identified with Nigeria, came to Nigeria, we hosted her, received her warmly. Right. Listen, as long as that blood in you, you're Nigerian. So it's that to Kemi to decide whether she appreciates the Nigerianness in her, whether she wants to work with Nigeria, but we'll be glad to, but we cannot force anybody.
Guys, UK Conservative Political Party leader Kemi Badenoch blow hot at Vice President Kashim Shettima after Kashim Shettima called her out and said that she's parading Nigeria, in fact, that she should remove Kemi from her name if she don't want to associate or relate to Nigeria. So yesterday, Kemi replied to say that she is not Nigeria PR and she's never gonna be Nigeria PR. Today, it's not end, you know. Kemi said, I am a Yoruba. I have nothing in common with Boko Haram having of northern Nigeria. She said that she recognized herself as a Yoruba than a Nigerian. You must be a Nigerian. You must be. Not be me talk. He said na Boko Haram. Not be me na Kemi talk. But Auntie gay bad man too. The kind of hatred she has for Nigeria kind of politics and politicians and for the government. I beg, no best for us, so it's not our fault. But guys, is this not disrespecting vice president? Like, is this not an insult to vice saying, she has nothing in common with Boko Haram having? Is she trying to tell her that Kashim Shettima? Okay. Anyway, guys, what did you think on this video? Comment your opinion respectfully at the comment section, and don't forget to follow and share.
Nigerians don't feel a sense of belonging in their own country. Nigerians feel more fear and anxiety in their country. Most Nigerians will say worse things than Kemi Badenoch if they are given the chance to. Some Nigerians are just suffering and smiling because they don't have the chance, they don't have the voice, they can't even speak, else they'll be intimidated. So imagine that a person with so much burden find themselves in a place where they can speak out without the Nigerian government coming for them. They will say everything that needs to be said. Even Kemi Badenoch is not even saying anything compared to what some Nigerians are waiting to reply the Nigerian government. Honestly, because the funny thing is that Kemi Badenoch is telling the truth about the current state of the government. They have not come out to say that she's telling lies. So imagine what a whole lot of Nigerians are waiting to spill about the current state of the country. The funny thing is that our elites know that the country is in bad shape, so they don't even want anyone to tell them the truth about the state of the country because they know. And so they want every other person here to pretend. They want us to pretend that we're feeding well. They want us to pretend that we're secured. They want us to pretend that we're having the best education ever. They want us to pretend that we have the best health care. They want us to pretend that we're enjoying the most amazing economy in the world. They want us to pretend that we're having a good life in the country. And they want us to come out in front of a camera and say amazing things about the country, whereas the one who is speaking have not even eaten. The reason why it feels like most people don't have the voice to speak out is because they're hungry. When they find their voice, the country will shake. Imagine the entire Nigeria telling the truth about Nigeria. Nigeria as a country. Nigeria as a country will shake. What Kemi Badenoch is doing to the country and she's able to shake the elites is small compared to what other Nigerians are waiting to do when they have the kind of power she has. And she's telling the truth. So imagine how much truth will be told out of Nigeria when people are given the chance to speak out and reply the government of the day. Just imagine what's going to happen.